Okay, so welcome to WatchTube with me, Tim Crisp, and this part 3 of what to do when you are assigned a new client. You recall that in part 1, we looked at how to find the client, how to identify the funding stream, and how to locate the assessment notes. In part 2, we looked at the use of the diary, and in this, the third part, we'll look at the attendance of clients at sessions and how to record your notes in reflection of each of those sessions. Okay, so here we have in front of us the example boarding card, and this has been created purely for the purposes of this training video. The great majority of the information on here has been fabricated for this purpose. Okay, so in order to be able to register client attendance, what we need to do is to scroll down beneath the boarding card slightly to this series of tabs running from left to right across the page. So we can see here that we have, running from left to right, patient registration, episode summary, referral data, and so forth running along. What we want to do is to center in here on this tab that says clinical contacts. And I'm going to click on that there. It'll take us back up to the top of the page, but we want to just scroll down again to this section here, the clinical contacts. And we can see that the sessions we entered in the diary are automatically transferred over to appear here. Now, we need to select the one with the appropriate date on. In this case, we're going to register the session for the 19th of July, 2023. Okay, and what we need to do is to focus in here just towards the right-hand side of the page where it says fill in clinical contact. So if we click on there, we'll see that the following is revealed. So as we can see there, the session date is given as per already mentioned in the clinical contacts field. We can change that if we want by clicking on that calendar sign and just choosing what we want date wise to appear there. Of course, you have the option there, the time as well, to change that. The session stage, well, if we're carrying out the counselling, then that should be on the treatment option from that pull down menu. If I click on that there, we can see that there are the other stages in the care pathway there. Referral received, that the client was on the waiting list for assessment, the assessment stage, the waiting list for treatment or for the counselling to begin, and treatment, i.e. the counselling itself. But we want to leave it on the treatment stage, so I'll click on that and leave that as it is. Now we're going to move down here now to the contact details. And what we see here is a series of fields appearing in orange. And these are the compulsory fields, the ones that we need to fill in. Okay, so we can see here that we have this first aspect here. This clinical contact is going to be completed as A, and then the 2 bullet point options. We always want to select the top one there. Clinical contact requires full MDS in brackets default. Now, if we come down to that attendance field and click on that pull down menu, we can see that a variety of options appear here. We have attended on time at the top, and then scrolling down, we can have things like did not attend, no advance warning given, appointment cancelled or postponed by a therapist worker. Whichever it might be will then be registered in that field. So here we're going to select attended on time. Now you'll see then that the field above has now appeared in orange. If we click on that pull down menu, we can see here that the options are either session with client or session without the client present, for example, with a parent or guardian. Now we need to click here on session with client because of course the session would have been with the client concerned. The consultation mechanism, well, that's the modality of the counselling. This will be automatically filled in for you as a result of what you've entered in the diary. You can, of course, change this around if you wish. So, for example, if this counselling session was, say, for example, by telephone, I'll just move that bullet point there, but we will pop it in as face-to-face because, well, that's what it was in the diary and what we can presume that this clinical contact, this counselling session would have taken place through. We'll see here the next orange highlighted field is the consultation type. If we click on that pull-down menu, we can see here there are two options, either initial assessment stroke meeting or follow-up session. Now, unless the session was an assessment, we always click on there the follow-up session. Okay, the completion point there, if we click on that pull-down menu, we can see that we have a variety of options there, assessment during therapy, follow-up after a break to check in. Well, here we always choose a during therapy option if it is in reflection of a counselling session. Of course, we'll choose the assessment option if it is for an assessment. But here, of course, we want the during therapy option, and I'll click that just here. The appointment location has also shown up as a compulsory field. And again, this will be automatically transferred over from the information as entered in the diary. And then if we scroll down further, we can bypass this. And then we see this field here, clinical summary, clinical notes. And this is where you enter in your notes in reflection of the session. Now, of course, everybody has their own way of recording the notes for a counselling session. The general rule of thumb is just to make sure that you cover all the main points and so that you're able to make referral back to them. And of course, bearing in mind that the notes may be required for use at a later point for any reasons, such as if they're subpoenaed. So we need to make sure that the notes are thorough and cover all of the relevant points. So we're going to scroll down further here, and then we can see this field appears at the bottom, this option to save as complete. Okay, so we're going to click on that here, and we'll see that it's saving. It's given us the option here that the clinical contact has been updated. We want to press OK. And if we look up here at that clinical contact, the 19th of July, it has now appeared in a blue color. And that means that the session has been completed on the system. Okay, so this has been part 3 as to how to complete the clinical contact and how to record your notes in reflection of the session.